All right. So, right now we are Tuesday, the 10th of June, 2025. It's the second day of Steam Next Fest. Unfortunately, I missed yesterday, which was the first day. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because um, the way they have designed Steam Next Fest. Now, take what I'm about to say with a grain of salt because I don't remember it in specific details, but what I do remember is them saying that the way they designed it is that during the first, I think, 1, 2, maybe 3 days, but I'm not sure about the third day. But I know for a fact that at least for the first 24 to 48 hours, um, they allow equal exposure to all video games, more or less, right? And then with each passing day, basically the algorithm is going to start trimming down the games that they're going to show in Steam Next Fest based on I guess the number of wish lists or like the traction. I remember because before every Game Fest, they do special like Zoom meetings for people who have corporate accounts in Steam, and I've attended I think the last two or three, and they always answer like really interesting questions and stuff. And I remember them saying um, basically that at the start everybody has like an equal amount of exposure, but as time goes on, they start like uh, how can I say, like narrowing down the exposure, like which games get are exposed to which types of players and so on and so forth, right? Now, does that mean that some games basically get shadow banned or not? I don't know. I don't think so. If I remember correctly, the way they phrased it, it's not so much that they're showing certain games less, but it's more so that at the start they show every genre of game to every player, but later on they start narrowing it down based on each player's Steam library, right? So, for instance, here you can see featured and recommended. This is using a similar algorithm, possibly even the same algorithm, I'm not sure though, as the one that Steam Next is going to slowly but surely start using more and more of, right? And it's based on um, exactly here it says recommended because you played games tagged with war, tactical, PvP, co-op, etc., right? Magicraft recommended by a friend. Elden Ring Night Rain, here it's just now available because it's a top seller, right? War Robots recommended because you played games tagged with mechs, robots, war tactical, etc., right? So here you can already see the types of games, right? It either recommends top sellers or games with tags um, that match the tags by other games we have played as players or games recommended by friends, right? Now, another thing that I'm going to bring up before I go in blind with like analyzing the Steam Next Fest stuff is Bartle's taxonomy of player types, which I mentioned in at least one of my game dev streams. But I mean, I have so many of them that like even I don't remember which one I mentioned it in. So here I'm gonna quickly go over the Bartle taxonomy of player types, and I'm gonna phrase it differently than the way it is phrased in the Wikipedia article. But I mean, if you're interested, you can just go to the Wikipedia article and read it. But basically, here we have achievers, explorers, socializers, and killers. And the idea, like I do agree with the way it's phrased here in the Wikipedia article, but I would go as far as to say, because I remember while checking while googling the Barlow taxonomy of player types, I also read this article here. I believe, is this the one? I think, yeah, yeah. Here I think they mentioned like the yeah, like around 10%, blah blah blah. Yeah, so here they mentioned like for instance, achievers are about 10% of players. Oh jeez, no thanks. They're about 10% of players. Same thing with explorers that are around 10% of players. Then socializers that they say are almost 80% of players. And finally, killers that are about less than 1%, right? Now, I personally don't like this method of looking at things for the simple reason that um, they kind of put people in a box. How can I say it's as if they're like uh, transforming humans into one-dimensional entities, right? And it's not, I don't think that's entirely applicable to reality, because I'm of the mentality that every player can be any of these four types, right? Like any player can be a killer, an achiever, a socializer, or an explorer, or sometimes even mix of these different ones, right? Depending on what game they're playing, right? And the reason why I say this is because, and this I've also mentioned it in some of my previous, I was gonna say podcasts, Jesus, in some of my previous live streams, which is that to me, the way I look at video games is that there's the gameplay and the fantasy, right? So let me just open Paint, right? We're talking about um, gameplay, right? And then fantasy, right? And together, both of these create like the experience, let's say, right? So hold on. So let me just do this like that. Plus, oh no. Plus, what? Bruh. Okay. Well, whatever. So Irish colors. We're using Irish colors, right? Whoop. Here it's equal to experience. I don't know why. It's what? Okay, well, whatever. We're using Irish colors. Fuck it, right? So gameplay plus fantasy equals experience, right? That's the experience you're trying to create, right? Because the fantasy includes like visuals, music, story, etc., right? Gameplay is how players interact with the fantasy, right? So the idea here is that the gameplay, so the fantasy is the like the message or the vibe or the feelings or the story, or you know, whatever, like the how can I say, kind of like the substance, or no, it's actually the style. It's the style of the game, right? It's that's what I'm saying, like the vibe, right? Like how the game makes people feel, right? But it's not the whole experience, right? It's only half of the experience. And when I say half, I don't necessarily mean like 50%, right? Some games have very little fantasy and are mostly gameplay, right? If we take something like, I don't know, like a Super Meat Boy, or like any Sonic game, or even Mario games, right? Like the fantasy is very shallow, right? But it does what it needs to do, right? For a Mario game. So like you don't need to understand the world building of the Mario universe, right? Like you don't need to understand how the different creatures can coexist with one another, or how they feed themselves, or any of that shit, right? Like you don't need to know that, right? Instead, what you need to know is just, okay, well, this is like Jesus, I'm a game developer and I've never played a Mario game. I think I've only played like Mario Party, and that was like that was about a year ago with one of my best friends. It's just, I'm not a big platformer guy, so that's why. But basically, hold on, Mario uh, creatures or whatever, right? Okay, right. So these things, I don't know their names. I know some of are Goombas, other Koopas, whatever. I don't know which one's which. I know it's sacrilegious, but fuck you. Okay, I'm a Zelda player. Okay, I played Zelda games. I didn't play Mario games. Okay, neither did I play Pokemon games actually. But yeah, so basically you have all these different things, right? You don't need to understand how these things feed themselves, or where they come from or any of that shit, right? All you need to know is this is the fantasy of the Mario universe, right? And so fuck. And so that's all you need, right? It's not that deep, right? But then the gameplay is like the other half, right? So where I said that this is kind of like the style, this is the substance of a video game, and both of these a combination, a balanced combination of both of these is what creates the experience, right? And the way that this is the substance behind the game is because it's the way the players are going to interact with the game, right? So if you had a Mario game but you couldn't interact with it, you were just looking at these things moving, right? Like they all have like very basic movements from what I understand, right? Like they're just moving from one end to the other, etc., right? Like I don't know if we can look at. Oh, sure.
The Mario franchise dates back for a stronger variant of the Goomba and also grow a mustache.
Hold on. Okay. So
Lava bubble that
so
trap-
in if I can find, well, whatever. I think you know what I mean, right? So let's say this enemy here, right? It's gonna be moving around in a specific pattern, stuff like that, right? If all you had access to was looking at like the enemies without being able to interact with the world, then it would be the most boring shit ever, right? But because the player is able to interact with the game and interact with those enemies, then the gameplay and the fantasy merge together to create an experience, right? Like a very cool, interesting, immersive experience, right? And so people can be immersed into this game without it having photorealistic graphics or real life actors, right? Or any of that bullshit that Kojima puts in his games, for instance, right? And so when we're talking about like the psychology of players or like the different player types, right? The reason why I don't think you can put a single person like, I'm definitely an achiever and I'm nothing else or whatever, right? I feel like it depends more on what experience the game aims to do, right? Because like for instance myself, I'm not a big platformer player, right? As I said, like it's no accident that I haven't really played a a Mario game ever in my life because I was just never really interested, right? But I loved Hollow Knight. You know, it's I think the only Metroidvania I've ever played, and it's one of the few platformer games I've ever played. But I fucking loved it, right? I really liked Hollow Knight. But then I've never touched any other Hollow Knight clone because ultimately, like I'm not that interested in that genre, right? However, within the context of Hollow Knight, uh, Hollow Knight I'd say appeals most to achievers and explorers, right? Those are the two types of players that it appeals to. So hold on. So first, let me explain each player type, and then I'm gonna go back to what I was saying. So the achiever here, it says it's all about points and status and blah blah blah. They like to collect badges and stuff, but it's also just like be like the completionists, the people who like platinum a game on PlayStation and stuff like that, right? And in the context of a multiplayer game, I think here it mentions like in multiplayer games, they want to be like the best. They want to have all the legendary gear. If we're talking about like an MMORPG, right? They want to have all the coolest skins. Like if we're talking about like a MOBA, like League of Legends or whatever, right? Stuff like that, right? They want to max a player. So hold on. So if we take League of Legends hero levels, is it? Hold on. Experience. No. Hero progression. Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, so it's champion mastery. That's the term, champion mastery, right? So the champion mastery is this idea that like the more you play, oh well, fuck, there's no picture. The more you play a specific hero or whatever, the more like experience you acquire with that specific hero, right? And eventually, yeah, like A plus, A minus, etc., like up until S plus, right? And this, if I remember correctly, like yeah, gives you specific rewards or stuff like that, right? Like, so that's typical achiever, right? Like battle passes were invented for achievers, right? And again, if we go back to this article that says like, oh, achievers are only 10% of people, right? Well, if that's true, most people wouldn't be participating in battle passes, right? So that's why I'm like, I don't necessarily agree with this. It's more so that the hardcore achievers, right? Like the people who are mainly achievers would fall into that category, right? Uh, and those would be basically like the whales, right? The people who are so affected by FOMO, right? The fear of missing out, that the moment the battle pass comes out, they immediately buy it, right? They buy the battle pass, they get all the loot, everything immediately because they don't even want to risk losing it, right? Stuff like that, right? Then there's the explorers, which are the people who are most looking to get immersed into a world, right? Here it says like they want to see new things, discover new secrets, right? So they're not as bothered about points or prizes, so not like the achievers, but for them, discovery is the prize, right? So here it says, right, like their tendency to dig around are players who prefer discovering areas and immerse themselves in the game world, right? So these are players that, if we go back to here, they're mostly concerned with the fantasy. They're far less about the gameplay, right? And same thing kind of with the achievers, in the sense that the achievers, they just want the results, right? So if getting a specific achievement means being really good at the game, they're gonna get really good at the game, right? But if it means just knowing a lot about the lore or exploring every area to get like the every area explored achievement, they're gonna do that, right? So achievers are very mercenary-like players, right? Whereas explorers, they're more like about immersion and stuff like that, right? And as it says here, in multiplayer games, right, explorers will often become bored with any particular MMORPG when they have experienced its content. They will tire quicker than other gamer types, etc., right? But as I said, the way I see it is that these ones are not like, it's not a something that's set in stone, right? Like me, for instance, I've played MMOs, and when I play MMOs, I'm doing a bit of all four, right? I'm doing a bit of achievement, um, right? Depending on like, if I want my character to look really cool, right? That's a mix between achiever and socializer, right? And if I want to explore the world and get immersed, like for instance in the World of Warcraft or something, then I'm going to be more of an explorer. And then if I want to do some more PvP, I'm going to be a mix of socializer, killer, and achiever, stuff like that, right? So here's socializer is the other part. Again, here it says they're like, almost 80% of players. Yes, but no, right? Like single player games are still incredibly popular, and yes, you can be a socializer in a single player game, right? The idea with socializers is you want to basically have human interactions in your game, right? So a co-op game, technically it's not single player, but you know what I mean, right? Like a game that's couch co-op, like Halo, right? Halo is technically a game for achievers mainly, right? And in the PvP type is for killers, right? But then there's also the socializer and even explorer part, right? Because of the campaign and stuff, right? So again, that's what I mean, right? Like if we take Halo, for instance, it fits with all four types of players, right? And I myself, Halo 1 is like in my top 3 of favorite games of all time, right? And like, that's what I mean. I like the game for all four of these reasons, right? So, but as I said, you can have fully single player games where the player interacts with the NPCs, like Mass Effect, Knights of the Old Republic, Fable, and a bunch of other games where like player choice is really big in them, right? You even have like, hold on, this is Suzerain. Well, it's not just a mobile game, it's also on Steam. So if I go here, Suzerain, this is, I think, a visual novel. Oh yeah, visual novel, okay. So I guess this is probably the only visual novel I've ever played, right? And I really enjoyed this because it's all about like being the ruler of a nation, right? And so you have to like pick your ministers, do a bunch of stuff, you know, blah blah blah. So it's really fun. It's really interesting. This is a visual novel, and I would say that it still counts for socializers, because the fantasy, again, we go back to here. The fantasy is play as the ruler of a nation. The gameplay is you just interact, like you press buttons, right? It's a visual novel, right? It's not that deep, right? But the mix between the fantasy and the gameplay is perfectly balanced in a way where it creates an experience, right, that allows players, like socializers mainly, to immerse themselves. And then I would say the second type of player this most appeals to would be achievers, because I'm not sure if they're going to show it here. And yeah, no, they're not showing it. But basically, they're like collectibles that throughout the game you can acquire certain collectibles, right? That would not only do they count for like the achievements and stuff like that, but you can also, because they're the actual real objects in the game world, they allow you to then like do certain actions, right? So I think at one point in the game you can like give money to like your driver, I think, for him to pay for his children's tuition, right? And I think that's like at the very start of the game, and then he gives you like a watch or something, and then later on during the game there's like an assassination attempt against you or something like that. And if you did this at the very beginning of the game, well then you have like the pocket watch or whatever, and like like it stops the bullet or something like that. I don't remember the details, but it was something like that, right? And so this is kind of the idea, right? So it fits with socializers and achievers and stuff like that, right? And then the last part are the killers, which are basically like the griefers, right? The people who it's kind of like a subset of socializers. It's the people who find joy. It's like a mix between socializers and achievers, in the sense that you want to be the very best, right? Like you want to be the top dog, but you specifically want to be the best by crushing other people, right? So it's very much so like you kind of want to be the villain, right? Or like the anti-hero or stuff like that, right? Like you want to crush your enemies, right? And those are the types of players that, like, if we take a game like Rust or I forget which other similar games like that, they're the players who are gonna like destroy other people's bases instead of building their own, right? Like in Minecraft, if you join the server, they're the people who are gonna dynamite other people's stuff, and that's the fun, right? And although here in this article it says like, oh, it's like less than 1%, I think it really depends, right? Like I think it really depends of the game, because I mean, if you look at League of Legends, I don't think people play League of Legends to be at the very bottom, right? I've met very few League of Legends players who are happy when they're losing, right? So again, it all depends, right? So anyways, all of this to say that these are the different types of players, right? And I don't think it's fair to categorize people by only saying, oh, you're clearly 100% a killer, or clearly this or that, right? Because for instance, to go back to what I was saying initially, Hollow Knight appeals mainly, I would say, Hollow Knight appeals to basically, like, it's a platformer, Souls-like, blah, blah, blah. So it appeals to all sorts of different players, right? And like the reasons why I play Hollow Knight are completely different from the reasons why I would play like Total War, right? Or why I would play Overwatch, or why I would play League of Legends, or why I would play a Mario game like Mario Kart, right? And so on and so forth, right? And again, the same person can technically be a different type of player for different games, right? But they can also be a different type of player for the same game, right? Sometimes maybe I'm gonna play, let's say StarCraft 2, right? I'm gonna play StarCraft for the single player, right? In which case I'm more of an explorer, more of an achiever maybe, because I want to get an achievement in the campaign or something. Other times I'm gonna play competitive multiplayer in StarCraft 2, right? because I'm more in the mood to be a killer, right? A killer player type. And then other times I might play against StarCraft 2, but the custom games, because it's a mix of all of them, like Explorer, Socializer, Achiever, whatever it is, right? So that's the point, right? Like you can basically like I don't think this is as brittle and stringent as they make it out to be, right? And so with this in mind, right, with this little crash course in player psychology and game design, I'm now gonna go blind into the Steam Next Fest, right? And I'm just gonna look at games and just analyze games as a gamer, but also kind of as a game dev, and kind of give my 2 cents into like what I think, right? But I'm hoping that we're gonna get a good glimpse at the quality of games in general, right? And how like maybe certain games are done in a way that appeals to people and stuff like that, right? To be specific, I'm not gonna play any demos today, right? Instead, I'm mainly going to I'm mainly just going to analyze the like the store pages and stuff like that, and just say basically like would or would not, right? That's kind of the idea. And here I'm gonna have a list. Okay, so would or wouldn't Steam Next Fest June 2025. Okay, now here I'm just gonna have the names of games that I would or wouldn't, right? So hold on. So would, wouldn't. Oops. Wouldn't. Okay? Like that, right? Alright, so let's get going. I remember that last time in February, it's the first time I checked Steam Next Fest, and I remember I think I wishlisted maybe one or two games. For about 45 minutes, I think I looked at like more than 200 different games, and I only like wishlisted maybe one, two, or three. I don't remember exactly. And so we'll see, right? Okay, so let's click. Okay. Explore upcoming games and try out free demos. Wishlist your favorites to get notified when they release. New to Next Fest, scroll to the bottom for more info, or just explore around to discover your new favorite game. Why is a woman speaking? just kidding. Okay, so on my wish list. Okay, Dune Crawl, yeah. Moonlight. Okay, so what this probably means is that these ones have demos. Now, because these ones, I remember I did not wishlist either of these games in the last Steam Next, right? Rather, I saw their trailer when they got released, like, probably like on IGN or something, and I remember being like, oh, okay, these look like games that actually have soul, basically, right? Whatever we might say about these games, they look like they're made with people who actually care about making good games with good mechanics and systems and stuff, right? But as I said, today we're not playing any demos or whatever. Okay, so recommended for me, Becoming Saint, Pixel Starships, Tactical Annihilation. Okay, so first of all, just seeing these, okay, these capsules or banners, or I don't know what they're called. Again, my vocabulary is shit. English is my third language. Give me a break. But immediately I'm like, okay, all three of these look interesting. Immediately, right off the bat. Tactical Annihilation immediately reminds me of Total Annihilation, if I remember correctly. Hold on. Is that the one? Is it Total Annihilation? No. What was it? It was... Oh, fuck. Oh my god, what was it? Planetary Annihilation. Yes, okay. So it reminds me of Planetary Annihilation, which when I was in high school, I remember seeing the Kickstarter for this. I was fucking hyped, and they let us down. Fuck these people. They're scammers. Fuck them. Okay. So let me just put this here, like that. So this instantly reminds me of that, but just by looking at this, I'm like, it's a completely different game, so I'm gonna give it a shot. So let's look right here. Okay. Okay, so it's experienced turn-based strategy with freeform base building, okay. It captures the depths of an RTS. All right. Okay. So let's look at this here. Okay. Graphics aren't photorealistic, but it's not about them being photorealistic. It's about the art style and how they convey, again, how they convey the fantasy and the gameplay, right? Here we can see, okay, it looks interesting. It looks like it has potential, right? Okay, so here we're shifting from a top-down view to a more isometric view. Interesting. Okay, and let's look at the trailer. Well, it definitely looks like a real video game. It doesn't look like an asset flip or whatever. Would I install the demo? I don't know. I don't know because ultimately it just, I don't know. It doesn't like creates any kind of spark, kind of, right? Again, we're talking about like would or would not, as if like very similarly to like when you see a picture of a woman, it's like would you or would you not, right? Like you have no idea what her personality is, nothing like that. It's just would you or would you not. Same case here, right? I'd say I wouldn't say no, but I also wouldn't go out of my way to try it, right? It's just, I don't know. It's like something, it just, it doesn't really like wow me. Okay, so Tactical Annihilation, copy, paste, wouldn't, not necessarily bad, just doesn't, like, give me a spark, if that makes sense, right? There's no spark. Okay, so that there's just no spark. Okay, relax. Okay, there you go. Let's see Becoming Saint. The name, I'm not a big fan of the name. Hold on. So choose your doctrine and preach across medieval Italy and this real-time strategy roguelike. Gather your diverse cast of followers. By the way, I know some people hate roguelike. Me personally, depends. If the game's good, it's good. Venture out to convince and convert new believers. Oh, okay, interesting. Conquer towns and try to become a saint. Oh, okay, so that's an interesting premise. That's an interesting fantasy. Okay, it looks, yeah, it's a tactical player units, local units. Okay, I like the visuals. I really like the visuals. I like the simplicity of the UI. It doesn't look like it doesn't look aggressive, right? I like this, the little map, Roma, Napoli, Salerno. All right. Peasants with a club. Okay, so this is probably like how you kind of create your little units, your loadouts. So this probably has to do with the what's it called, the roguelike mechanics. On this, okay, Pope. So this might be your opponent. You pick as your pet. Okay, so this is another roguelike aspect. A cunning wolf as strong as he is beautiful. Okay, interesting. Cult creator. Okay, so see, this one I'd say would. You know, see, I didn't even need to look at the trailer. I can just already say like I would, right? Let's just look. Start on your mission. Pick as your pet. Yeah. And the type of leader you want to be. Okay. Kind of get the gist of it. Alright, so Becoming Saint. We're gonna put that in wood. Alright. Let's close this. Let's see Pixel Starships, okay? So first of all, hold on. First of all, the banner art is the best of all three of these, obviously. this looks like oh shit, like this is interesting, right? Especially since I'm making a strategy sci-fi game. So the moment I see this, first of all, as someone who likes these types of games, I'm like, oh, this looks interesting, but also, oh, this might be a competitor. So I'm definitely gonna check this out, right? So let's go here. Okay, so hold on. So immediately, oh wow, they already have a release date, bold. Immediately, not a fan of the visuals. But this is more subjective. It's just because I don't know why I don't like this type of like somewhat like photorealistic with like they tried good textures but they're not kind of good enough, right? And then you mix that with like a different art style. Basically, to me, it feels like there's a clash of art styles, right? It's just personally, I've never really been a big fan of these, and it reminds me kind of Flash games, but not necessarily the good kind. So I'm like, ugh. However, something that I do find interesting is this room mechanic that I'm like, oh, okay. I like management games. This looks like kind of like a management type of thing. Interesting. The UI, also not the biggest fan of the UI. I don't know, it just doesn't appeal to me. This now, what I like is a more zoomed out version. Now see, when it's more zoomed out compared to here, I'd say this looks a bit better on the eyes, right? This looks a bit better on the eyes, but again, I'm still not a super fan of the art style, but this looks a bit better. And same thing with the UI. The UI looks less, I don't know, it looks a bit better here, I'd say. Oh fuck, oh, Jesus. Okay, well, okay, they're losing points even more. I do like the background here, but I like the planet background, but I don't like the interior of the ship. Again, I don't know. I don't like this like semi-photorealistic polished look. Again, more of this stuff, more of the different ships. Okay, so I'm not sure like how does the combat work? What's the, like ultimately what's the gameplay? Is it a visual novel? Like is it some sort of management game? Or maybe something similar to FTL? Is it a visual novel? Is it all of these things? Right? Is there ship-to-ship combat? This reminds me of Endless Space for anybody who has played. Is this ship customization? And also these are different ships, or are there different factions or whatever? Right? It's yeah, I don't know. Basically, I'm kind of struggling to find the game's identity and the type of experience it wants to give me, right? Like it feels a bit less cohesive than last time, right? Okay, this is interesting. Okay, so it definitely looks like it has a lot of different mechanics and systems, but more isn't necessarily always better, right? Because I'm of the opinion that it's better to have fewer systems and mechanics, but with more depth, than to have lots of ones but that are shallow, right? But again, that's just my preference. To each their own. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of stuff here. Could be good, could be good, could be bad. But at the end of the day, I'd say so-so, right? So wait, what the fuck? Hold on. First glimpse on Steam Next. Build, configure, and manage every aspect of your own starship, an FTL-esque game in an MMO setting. Okay. Pre-bundled with deep strategy, exploration, PvP. Okay, so deep strategy, that's for strategy players. Exploration, explorers, I guess. PvP, killers. Market economy, achievers. Trading, mining. Well, trading, socializers. Okay. Basically everything a Star Captain wants to do after a day at the office. Yeah, well, after a day at the office, I don't want to do accounting, okay? I don't want to spend the little free time that I have micro and macro managing a bunch of shit, right? So let's just take a look. Okay. Like, honestly, there's so much shit going on the screen. Like, there's so much, like, I'm sorry, I'm just gonna pause. Each of these are characters This, I assume, is the enemy ship. This is my own. I'm sorry. It's gonna be a no for me. Sorry. Pixel Starships 2. It's the sequel. Bruh. Wouldn't. I'm sorry. Too much. Sorry, not for me. Okay, I'm just gonna be right back. Give me a second. Because it's getting a bit dark here, so I'm just gonna light my bedroom. Arrow 1. Oh, I think I've seen this one. Yeah, okay. Jelly. Medievally battle simulator. Well, okay. So let's quickly look at these. Wait, Arrow 1 demo, that's it? What? Okay. Alright, because when you create a game on Steam, you can either put the demo directly on your game's store page, right? Yeah, so check out the full game. So if I were to open this, it would bring me to the actual store page, right? Okay, so Arrow 1 is an innovative space game that combines elements of real-time strategy, base building, space survival, and tactical battles. Players can create and customize their bases from scratch, construct various types, structures and warships, manage fleets, and engage in tactical space battles. Okay, interesting. But yeah, as I was saying, some people can put the demo directly on their store page, but also create a direct demo, a direct store page for their demo. Me personally, I would say this I don't think is the best idea, just because people can leave reviews to your demo. So if your demo is incomplete and yeah, so see, negative, positive, yeah, the demo is lots of fun. Okay, can't play due to the UI, blah, blah. Okay, yeah, whatever, right? So let's just cinematic. Okay, the moment I see a cinematic, I just tune out. I'm sorry. I want to see gameplay. Okay, fuck that. Too much on screen. Fuck that shit. Yeah, no. I don't care how fun your game is. This is too much. No, I'm not touching this. Like, I'm an adult, right? I go to work. I wake up at fucking 3:45 in the morning to go to work, right? When I come home, I don't want to be, I don't want my eyes, I don't want my retinas to be physically assaulted. Okay, I'm sorry. No thanks. I'm sorry. I'd say wouldn't. Okay, so what is this? Arrow 1. Arrow 1. Wouldn't. UI is exhausting to look at. Sorry, not sorry. Honestly, no thanks. Right. And I know this must be brutal. Like if any of the people who made these games are looking, I'm sorry. I know I'm being brutal, but I have to be honest, right? I have to be heartless because like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but it really is like, and this is the thing. Players in general, like as game developers, we need to think that the players are just looking for a reason not to click, right? Because at the end of the day, no one wants to spend money. People want to receive stuff, but they don't want to. They want to spend as little money as possible, right? So any excuse I have to be like, you know what? I'm not gonna waste my time on your game. I'm gonna take it, right? An online action RTS where the tide can turn in a flash. Fight exciting battles where you recruit golems. Oh boy. Okay. To battle your opponent's slimes, cleverly redirect their slimes with walls, or sneakily steal their flag to make a dramatic comeback. Okay. Well, the description is kind of like too little. Hold on. Too little information, too much information, right? So you kind of need to find a specific balance. Okay, not a fan of the art style, not gonna lie. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. The visuals alone, I'm like, not really for me. Jelly troops. Visuals unappealing. Wait, is it? Yeah, it's 2Ps. I can't fucking write. All right. Yeah. So far only 1 wood, 4 wouldn't. Right. Starts off great. Medieval Battle Simulator. I mean, these I consider to be meme games in the sense that like I don't think you can get much value out of this game, right? There's only so much you can do. The visuals and art style aren't necessarily bad because again it's not about being photorealistic. It's just does everything fit together. The UI fits with the game visuals, so that's not bad. But I mean, it's like how many battle simulators can we make until we've kind of seen everything, you know? So I'd say wouldn't, right? Wouldn't. Doesn't distinguish itself from the rest of its genre. Okay. So 5-1 so far. 5-1. And again, these are in my recommended. The Scouring. Oh, yes. Absolutely. Yes. Yes. Okay. Yes. So I've already seen like behind the scenes stuff with the devs and shit. Like big long interviews. My favorite game of all time is Warcraft 3. So immediately you know why I'm saying yes. I'm biased, but let me tell you why I immediately said yes to this as opposed to any other Warcraft 3 clones or whatever, right? So first of all, this basically looks like Warcraft 4, like what Warcraft 4 should have been with regards to the UI and kind of the gameplay and everything, right? Even though this is technically a remake of Warcraft 1, right? That's what the developer said, right? Second of all, UI, this UI could be improved a bit just because it's a bit too non-diegetic. So for those who don't know, diegetic, hold on, diegetic meaning of sound in a movie television program occurring within the context of the story and able to be heard by the characters, right? But if we expand on this idea, right, it's yeah, in the sense in the writer's own voice, right? So this is kind of in the sense that like, let me show you diegetic UI. So the most diegetic UI any game I think has ever made is the Dead Space UI, where this is actually on the player character, and the further down it goes, health meter, stasis meter, etc., right? So diegetic means included in the world, right? Non-diegetic is more like this, right? Like World of Warcraft or whatever, right? So in this case, my only complaint would be like I like the simplicity of the UI. It does feel intuitive and stuff, right? It takes as little on the screen as possible, but it just looks a little too non-diegetic for the type of game it is. But that's like a small pet peeve. If this is the way the UI would remain until the end, it would be fine. The visuals, the 3D visuals and stuff looks really good, right? And again, I've seen the game in movement. The characters move really well, right? And again, it's this clearly has soul. It was made with passion and stuff, right? And it shows like the humans, the orcs, stuff like that. Oh, we can have units on top of towers, etc., right? Cool visuals, right? And then let's look at this, right? So I mean, the game basically speaks for itself, right? So exactly. Exactly. So I think we got the idea, right? Like, so Scouring, yes, please. Yes, please. Hold on. The Scouring. The Scouring. Warcraft 4. There you go. Ooh. Warcraft 4 for the win. Morse. Tribes. Oh, Oh, is this from the Ultimate RTS Experience? Okay, hold on. So again, you can see that the algorithm is pretty good, right? Because it has recommended, like we haven't seen a single shovelware game so far, right? Immediately I see this, I'm like, this looks unappealing. I'm gonna be honest, because it reminds me of, I think it's Undertale the game or whatever. People have said that Undertale the game is super great, whatever. Every time I've seen footage of it, I was like, what the fuck am I looking at? It's just unappealing. Oh, okay. So you're like, it's the fantasy of being like a Morse code person who communicates. It's basically battleships in Morse now. Now this is a tedious game. No, no, no thanks. Morse looks tedious. Nope. Hold on. Kill, build, explore on an abandoned island with a rival. And again, with stuff like this, you can immediately see what kind of player they're going for, right? Like what player type they're going for on an abandoned. And again, as I said, each player can embody more than one player type at once, right? So in this case, it would be you're the type of player who likes to play strategy games in which you explore a map, you build like your tribe, your kingdom, whatever, and there's conflict. That's basically what this means, right? On abandoned island, with a rival tribe threatening you, your only choice is to fight back, build your base, train your army, yeah, etc., right? Looks okay. Looks decent. But at the same time, I don't know. Right, let's just look.
Ultimate RTS, infinite amount of maps and endless hours of fun. Only a bargain at $9.99.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not too sold on it. Doesn't necessarily look bad, just missing just no spark. Same. All right, there you go. So far two would, 7 wouldn't. Okay, so damn. Age of Warbots. Okay, and now I think, just for the sake of time, because I think I've been going on for quite a while now, I think you kind of get the idea, but now I'm just gonna go like, literally just based off of this, right? This, yeah, no, wouldn't. So Circle Empires 2, Circle Empires 2, wouldn't. Age of Warbots. This looks like another battle simulator, so Age of Warbots. Age of Warbots. Because again, it goes back, it all goes back to the balance, right? If the balance between gameplay and fantasy, and the idea is, what kind of experience are you creating, right? And I'm the type of player where, like, I grew up, like, we weren't the richest people, right? So I would basically get 2 new things a year, once on my birthday, once on Christmas, right? So every time I had to choose, am I gonna get like 2 movies, 2 video games, a movie and a video game, etc., right? So I grew up playing very few video games, but playing the shit out of them, right? And so because I've grown up this way, what I'm looking for in a game is not like, oh, is this gonna entertain me for like a couple of hours? It's like, no, is this going to leave a memorable experience? Like, is it gonna be memorable, right? Is it gonna leave a good impression in my mind, right? This Frogrammer, immediately I'm like, fuck that, this looks, no thanks. Okay, another auto battler. No. So Frogrammer, nope. All right. Immortal Gates of Pyre. I've seen this one. It's your classic like StarCraft 2 or Warcraft 3 type of RTS. If I was a player who didn't know anything, I would probably say wood. like play the demo and stuff, because I've been following this game for a couple of years and I know it's legit. But as a player who doesn't know anything about this game, I look at this, I'm like, okay, art style, graphics looks interesting, you know, so on and so forth, blah 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 blah, you know. Okay, it looks interesting. Is an immersive RTS where you play as powerful immortals, blah 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 blah, right? I'd say sure, like would. This sandbox mode, load, okay. I don't know. It looks janky a bit. And once again, it kind of looks like a mix of a bunch of different stuff, which means it's probably lacking in depth, right? Because we have like a castle building stuff, but then also army control, like right here, and then a bunch of other stuff. I'm like, it probably has lots of different mechanics, but lacking in depth, I would say. Again, I'm being judgmental, but this is the point of this, right? Like we're judging these games based on first impressions, right? And we're being harsh, right? This already looks weird and unintuitive. Wait, so is it a first-person shooter or like what? All right. I've got nothing. Honestly, I don't know what the gameplay is for this game. I have no idea what I'm looking at. It doesn't look bad, but it looks yeah, no. It's gonna be a no for me. Caught in a time loop. Your band of resistance fighters is humanity's last hope. Yeah, well, fuck humanity. I guess we're doomed. All right. Yeah, no, this looks unappealing. Little Kingdom RTS. Okay, I like the art style. It's cute. Looks cute. Okay, enemies. Okay, I'm already tempted to say wood. I know that there's a lot on the UI, but it doesn't feel overwhelming just because the way the game is structured, you can see there's lots of repetition, right? Lots of walls, farms, stuff like that. It's very cute. It's very simple. It does look intuitive. Like with in my experience, I probably like click on this, place it, easy peasy. You can probably, yeah, it's about building. Yeah, I'd say wood. Yeah, this looks cute. Yeah. Okay, this one I would. Oh, whoops! I was gonna write in wouldn't. Okay, would. All right. Okay. Broken Epoch. Yeah, no, this looks like slop. So Broken Epoch. Broken Epoch. Tyrium. Okay. Oh wow. Okay. Okay. Wow. Okay. This is not ready. This is not okay. Alpha, bruh. You should not put your alpha on Steam Next Fest, bro. You can only apply on Steam Next Fest once. What are you doing? I wish him well. The concept looks interesting, but hold on. Concept looks like it has potential, but it's in alpha. What the fuck, mate? Alright. Nope. Xenopurge. There are no orcs. Let's look at this. Okay. Okay. Okay, this once again looks cute. The art style matches with the UI. Okay, probably roguelike elements, leveling up the shop or destroying an enemy. Okay, see, this one looks like a nice game. So okay. So remember, like one of the previous games we looked in the description, they said like, oh, it's everything you want after you come home from the office. It's like, no, this is more like it, right? This feels like a tug of war, right? Hold on, an RTS roguelike hybrid with auto battling troops, perfect. Master building placement, swarm your enemies and smash. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. This is what I want to play when I come home from work and I'm tired, right? Because this is brainless, right? Well, it's the perfect mix between brainless but also not brainless, right? Like, because you have to think about how you're gonna optimize your placements and stuff, but you don't have to worry about, like, it's not tedious. You don't have to micro your troops. You don't have to do any of this shit, right? So this, I'd say wood. Absolutely wood. For sure. For sure. Okay. Xenopurge. Yeah. Xenopurge. UFL. I know what the fuck UFL is, but Xenopurge. Just doesn't, like, is a tactical auto battler where you are a commander tasked with purging the Xenos threat, operate from a remote. Ugh, nah, the visuals are unappealing. Sorry, bro, nah. And also the controls look weird. Like, what am I supposed to do here? Nah, nope. What the fuck is UFL? Okay, no thanks. UFL. Mecha Simul Tactics. Okay, this looks like it has potential. And by the way, I'm going off of this in the sense that, like, I'm assuming I'm the target audience for this, right? So some of these games, like for instance this, I'm probably not the target audience for this specific game, but just looking at it, I'm like, okay. Like, if I was the type of player who's looking at games like these, I would probably give this a try. But again, alpha, why? Why are you demoing? Oops. Why are you demoing your alpha? Fuck's sake. Okay, there you go. Mecha Simul Tactics. Why are you demoing your game's alpha on Steam Next, bro? That's not a good idea. General Command. What the fuck is this? General Command. Oh, okay. Okay, this would probably be interesting for people who like this. Yeah, so this, again, this... again, just by looking at it, I can immediately tell, like, if it's made to be intuitive or not, right? So again, we're going back to the principle of gameplay / fantasy. The gameplay looks... Well, first of all, the fantasy looks very basic, right? But we don't need it to be photorealistic or anything. We just need it to work in tandem with the gameplay to create an experience, right? And in this instance, it's the experience of being like a Prussian general or whatever, right? Deploying their troops and moving them and being strategic. So I would say, just off of this, I'd say yes. This is probably going to appeal to the types of players that are interested in this, right? All right. Anvil, okay. Okay, this looks interesting. Okay. But are the controls easy? Is it intuitive? Okay. The creators of Foxhole, okay. Oh wait, are we playing as some multiplayer? Oh shit! Oh, I thought this was a strategy game. Oh! Okay. Okay, I'd say wood. This one would. Anvil Empires. Yeah, this one. Just because of the concept, and again, if we look at like the execution, because what I'm analyzing is, first of all, are the visuals cohesive? Second of all, can I immediately get an idea of what's happening on screen and what I'm supposed to do as a player, right? And then number 3 is the execution done right, you know? And by just looking at the way like the characters are moving, stuff is happening, it's fluid and it looks intuitive. So that's why I'm like, yes, Wood. That's why, right? So it's not just style over substance. It's using our experiences as gamers. And I remember recently I watched a video about this, right? And it was about, oh, I forgot what it's called, but it's a term that refers to basically people gaining expertise on something by doing it, right? And the guy was mentioning how people who whose jobs involve handling money like on the regular, right? Because they handle lots of physical cash every day, after a while it becomes second nature to them to be able to see false, like fake money from real money, right? Well, it's the same thing with video games, right? Like after a while, if we've played certain video games, especially certain genres, like for me it would be probably like RPG, but especially strategy game. I'd say strategy game is the type of genre of game, and also MMO, where the moment I just see maybe 5 seconds of gameplay, immediately I'm like, would or wouldn't, right? Immediately I know, right? And so this is kind of what I'm doing here, like with you guys, right? So Galactic Veins, okay, so this again, interesting. So again, interesting, not interesting, interesting in the sense of like what I'm looking at, right? Like, this looks like a Chinese game, so it's probably trash. Sorry, China, I'm just saying you're not known for your good games. And no, Black Myth Wukong is not like a revolutionary game. Okay, first of all, too much UI that does not feel intuitive. This already looks a bit like a simulator, and I'm not looking to play a simulator. I'm looking to relax when I come home from work, right? This again looks a bit too tedious. Why do we have to like click on it and wait and do specific stuff? I don't know. And it's all basically the same screenshot, right? So like what, we're just stuck in the debris field. Okay, here we can probably customize our ship. Again, same thing as one of the previous games that we were talking about. This art style is not my favorite because it's detailed, but for whatever reason, it's like a little too detailed, which makes it look not that good. Like, you know what I mean? It's a bit difficult to describe, but it's like, I would rather play a game that's less detailed. Like a lot of the games I liked, right? A lot of the games I said would, like Little Kingdom, RTS, and There Are No Orcs. Both of these were pixel games, and I still said would, right? Becoming Saint is like a 2D, like not cartoonish, but like drawn game, and I still said would, right? Mecha Simul Tactics is like a kind of pixelated game, right? So it's not about like, you don't need to get these high fidelity graphics, right? You just need to get something that works together visually, right? Yeah, and the menu, yeah, no, this is gonna be a no for me. Galactic Veins, sorry, but no. Would not. Mini Kingdom, what the fuck is this, bro? Ugh. Yeah, no, this looks like slop. Mini Kingdom Wars demo, yeah, from a China, yeah. Sorry, Fengye, sorry. Better luck next time, but this, no, this is just a no for me. So, Echoes of the Architect, okay. Okay, that looks interesting. Okay. I recognize these assets from the Unity Asset Store. Not that there's anything wrong with that. The UI is very simplistic. The textures are very simplistic. Again, this goes back to the problem that I was saying. These things, like, again, there's nothing wrong with taking assets from the asset store. I myself using a bunch of assets I've taken from the Unity store. But the point is, make them fit with your game. And for me, when I look at the strategy game and I look at the terrain and it doesn't look detailed, it looks like that, to me screams slop. I'm sorry. Again, I'm sure you people work really hard on your game, but it doesn't show, right? And at the end of the day, I can't be in your brain. I can't know how hard you've worked on it. The same way that no one listening to me, even after my game comes out, is gonna know exactly how hard I worked on the game, and neither should they, right? I don't expect the audience to give two shits about how difficult making my game was, right? What they care about is the product good? Does it look good, and does it look fun, right? And at that point, you're gonna get a, okay, well, maybe I'll buy it on when it's on sale or whatever, right? But this, again, UI too much stuff. Okay, this here actually looks good. This here looks good. Why is this the 7th screenshot, right? And now we're back on. Oof, yeah. I'm gonna have to say no. Sorry. There's a fast-paced real-time strategy. Yeah, well, if you have to micro your troops, most people are gonna say no thanks. I'm just saying, people want to relax when they play video games. They don't want slop, right? Mech Arashi. Okay, this looks like CGI. F. F. Let's see. Let's see the game in action. I want gameplay. For me, any developer who isn't known, like, we're not talking about Ubisoft here, right? We're talking about an indie developer. If you're spending money on a CGI cutscene or cinematic or whatever, immediately that's red flag for me, because it's like you don't know how to spend your money, right? So like this looks cool, but I'm waiting for a video game, you know? And we've seen from the screenshots that this is not representative of the gameplay. So okay, well, just for this, you didn't show me your gameplay in action, so no thanks. I want to see your gameplay in action. I want to see the way things move, the way things work, right? That's why I ended up liking Anvil Empires, because as I said, I was like, oh shit, this looks like it's actually moving nice, right? Okay, Planet of the Ants. Ugh. Well, this looks like a game that would have made a killing almost 40 years ago, like in the 90s. This looks like a 90s game. So I hope James, I hope you have a time machine. Sorry, bro. Would not. Sorry, bro. This Breeze of Ashes.
The hell up.
No. This looks like a prototype. Sorry. Breeze of Ashes. Jesus. Yeah. Well, February was worse, so I guess there's some improvement. Okay, we've seen a lot of these. Attack. Okay. Star Sim Battlezone. No, again, the terrain. No, look at this. This looks like slop. I'm sorry. Okay, so at this point, I'm just gonna put numbers. I'm not gonna write down the names because we're just wasting time at this one. So 1, 2. Okay, so 2, 3. Defense against ambushes. This one I'd say, sure, I'd give it a try. So Fistful of Yankees. A Fistful of Yankees. Boom. This one, let me just look at it a bit closer just to see. I don't know. I don't know. You know what? I'd say sure. Sure. This one, something tells me I'd have to play it. This one. This is probably the toughest one so far. I'd say I'd have to play it. Right? Would really, oops, really not sure. Would have to play it. Okay. Tribes, you already said no. Sirens, well. Horror. I don't play horror games. So me personally, I wouldn't. Like, I don't think I've ever played a single horror game. Like, I don't care about horror games. So this one, honestly, I have no comment. I don't know. Hotpot defense, no, wouldn't. Would. What am I looking at? Okay, this looks boring. So 1, 2, 3. Merchant of the Stars. Okay, yeah, 3. Okay, 4. So here we're at 6. Circle Empires, we already said no, no. Battle. Oh, what the fuck? Okay. So 1, 2 in Siege. Drone warfare. Okay, so 1, 2. So now we're at 8. 2 in Siege. Let me see. Again, it's not about whether it's okay. Interesting. Okay, so this is the opposite of Thronefall. Okay, yes, I'm in. Call the banners. Yeah. Okay. Smart concept. All right, I really like this actually. So, reverse Thronefall. For sure. This for sure. 100%. Yes. Yes. Crypt Keeper. You know what? I'd say Crypt Keeper. Sure, would. Crypt Keeper. Not for me. It's not my genre, but it looks like it might appeal to its target player. Target audience, whatever. To its target audience. Okay. Yeah, we did these already. Attack of Steel. No, this looks janky. We already said no to this. This looks undercooked. So I'd say 1, 2. Yeah, 1, 2. Okay, this one. Okay, maybe Aero Machina. Because again, like some of the, like a lot of these games are personally not my type. Like I don't think I would ever play this. But looking at it, I'm like, you know what? It gives me similar vibes to Yellow Taxi Go Vroom or something like that. So I'm like, you know what? It might be the same type of game where like the visuals aren't the best, but they're definitely not bad. The art style fits together and the movement looks solid, right? So it leads me to believe that this game was designed properly, right? Terminal bore, no thanks. And AI deal raise, whatever, no. Okay, so 2 more. So now we're at 10 here. All right. right, the broken clock. Okay, themes, genres, etc., etc. Right, Gravethorn. All right, so far none of these have caught my attention. One more button. Yeah, at this point I'm not gonna count, but 10 plus definitely. Oh. Zombie Rollers, The Last Ship. Interesting. Okay. I like the art style. I really like the art style. Okay. Yep. The trailer's good because it. Yeah. Okay. Trailer shows us nothing but gameplay. See, this is the opposite of the other CGI trailer and shit. Okay. Okay. Perfect. Yeah. I'm sold. You won me over. And look, it's a Chinese game. So it's like these guys get it. These guys understand how to fucking do it. You know? Okay, this is how you do it. Thera, rock, paper, scissors. Again, not my type of game. So I couldn't comment. This looks kind of like a horror socializer type of game. Oh, this looks interesting. Huh. I like the UI, I like the art style. Oh, what the fuck am I looking at? Oh boy, okay, this looks like slop. Okay. Can you show me what the gameplay looks like? Oh, okay, yeah, this is slop. Absolute slop. Okay. Nope. Yeah, so here is where we're getting into the part where like... Yeah, like, I'm sorry guys, I understand you're trying to make like gimmicky games and stuff, but don't expect that they're gonna sell that well, right? Like the same way you have to create a balance between gameplay and fantasy, you also need to create a balance between something that's common, a bit less original, but that more people are gonna be interested in and that they're gonna relate to it, but also not make it so diluted and so like generic that no one's gonna relate to it because it's lacking in soul, right? It's like cooking. You have to make your meal not too salty, but also not like not too spicy, but also not like devoid of anything. Like, jeez, what the fuck is this, bro? All right, how to next fast play demos, hover over. All right, well. I think we've reached the end now. Obviously, I can do show more. Oh, Jesus. Okay. And again, what? Jesus. All right. Well. Mod Mage Mike. Okay. Game. Yeah, no. Paradigm Island looks gay as fuck. Capsule. This one looks like it could have potential, but again, I'm not into platformers, so I couldn't say. Dice to Play, Lonely House, relaxing, atmospheric. No. All right. I think we've gotten the gist of it, right? This one doesn't look bad actually. Sphera. Yeah, this one looks like it has soul. Ooh. Yeah. This one, yeah, I'd say, yeah, would definitely try it out. Because again, remember, this is would I try out the demo or not, right? So it still doesn't guarantee I'm gonna fucking buy the game, right? But nonogram desserts. Oh, what the fuck is this? Is this a boomer game? Is this a game I'd give to like my mom for her to... I'd say yes. I'd say yes for this. It looks like the type of game I'd give to my mom for her to relax. So we're gonna call this a boomer game. Boomer friendly. Alright. Yeah, there are no orcs. Alright, so here we're starting to see games we've already seen before. From by the fuck? Clicker Kingdom. Ew. No. Fuck these idle games or whatever. Those aren't real games. Those are games that are so devoid in gameplay. It's basically a 99% fantasy, 1% gameplay that I don't consider that to be a real game. I know when I said it's a balance, it doesn't have to be 50-50, but it also shouldn't be 1% 99, right? Like, come on. Yeah, okay. Again, like just looking at these, do I feel like clicking maybe on this one? Maybe. Yeah, this looks like it was made with like actual heart and stuff, so I'd say give it a try. Check out the demo, you know. Okay. So I think that was enough. I have no idea how long this was. Maybe like an hour and a half. It feels like an hour and a half, 2 hours. So yeah, so that's kind of the state of modern games. Looking great, really hopeful. Okay, I'm not gonna be such an asshole. Okay, I understand lots of these people have worked really hard on their game, but at the end of the day, like when someone looks at your game, first of all, the picture here needs to look like it's quality, right? This looks decent. This looks decent, right? Dune Crawl doesn't look like, oh wow, mind blowing, right? It's not like what was like this, right? Pixel Starships looks really interesting, right? Becoming Saint looks okay, but if you remember correctly, we ended up not selecting Pixel Starships, but we did end up selecting Becoming Saint, right? So this looks interesting enough for me to click on it, right? And then I liked it, so I ended up selecting it, right? Now, remember when I said both of these games, I had already liked them, right? Let's say this one, we're like, oh, Dune Crawl, okay, looks interesting. I put this, I look at this, immediately I'm like, yes, right? Why? Because the art style fits. I think I said this already, but I'm going to repeat myself. The art style fits, but most importantly, I always look at the way things move, okay? A real proper game developer is going to have satisfying movement. This is called UX. Like, hold on. Like, it's written UX, which means user experience, right? Which is basically the game feel, right? And this is a good combination between the fantasy and the gameplay, but it goes a bit more into gameplay. It's basically, how does the game feel? Do the controls feel good? Does the feedback that the game give you, does it feel good, right? Oh, well, there you go. Skyrim was already on my wish list, right? Same thing here. We look at the way they move. Immediately, I'm like, okay, this looks legit. This looks like there's some actual quality put into the things, right? Same thing here. You look at the way it moves, the art style again. So these three games are really high quality games, right? What do they all have in common? First of all, the oh my god, what's it called? Like the picture basically that you see the banner, right? The game's banner looks interesting, right? Out of all three of these, I'd say Moonlighter 2 has the best one, then Scouring, then Dune Crawl, I'd say. But then next thing, what do we see? We click, okay, we see actual gameplay, okay. Third, we see art style. Art style is cohesive, yes, I like. And then the last thing, number 4, is how does it move, right? Which is the UX. Does it look legit the way it moves, right? Because it's one thing to look at the art style when it's static, and it's another to look at it when it's dynamic, right? So do the visuals look good when they're dynamic? Yes, I'm in, right? Does it look good? Yes, it looks cohesive. It looks good. Yes, I'm in. Does it look good? Yes, cohesive. Yes, I'm in. Perfect, right? And yeah, fuck you, bitch. And so, yeah, that's my analysis of Steam Next Fest June 2025. If you guys would be interested in more stuff like this, if you would be interested in more stuff relating to Steam Next Fest June 2025, because again, right now we're Tuesday, right? So like, I don't know, maybe you'd be interested in watching me play some of the demos and giving you analyzing it live while I play the demo or something like that. Let me know. Or any other requests for any types of videos, any other types of analyses, maybe videos about certain topics in game design, right? To go more in depth, like the player types, or not this, or like user experience, or stuff like that, right? Like maybe, how do you craft a proper user experience, right? Stuff like that. Like let me know what kind of other content you guys would want. Also, if you would want more rants, like my first video, and stuff like that. Yeah, let me know. Here's the list of basically all of it. At this point, we did like maybe, I passed at least 50 plus games, and these are the ones I named that I personally wouldn't. But maybe some of these actually looked interesting to you guys, so you know. And then these are the ones that I said like I would, right? Like these ones I would, you know. So overall, let's say here we have what, like 60, 70 at least, and here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So 17 out of 50 plus, let's say, right? So yeah, not the best, but I mean that's how the market works, right? And again, these are 17 that I would be interested in giving a try and testing their demos. Doesn't mean I'm gonna buy them. The Scouring, probably, because it's an indie version of my favorite game of all time, but you know, that's the only one here that I'm gonna buy for sure, but it's because I'm biased, right? But yeah, that's wait, reverse Throne Fall. Yeah, so that's that. Yeah, if you have any feedback, if you have any questions, any requests for other videos, let me know. I hope this was informative. I hope this was entertaining. And also, yeah, like let me know what you guys think, right? Like maybe you have different opinions on like how games should be judged, on what makes a good game, what makes another, like, etc., right? Because again, all of this is subjective at the end of the day, right? It's just the way I see things, the way I analyze things, stuff like that. But yeah, feel free to let me know what you think. And yeah, otherwise, I'll see you guys next time. Take care.